The World Cup sees the greatest players on the planet from the greatest leagues in the world battle it out, from La Liga's Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, to Ligue 1's Neymar and Kylian Mbappe, to the Premier League's Sergio Aguero and Kevin De Bruyne. However, it's not just the top divisions that will be represented at the World Cup, there will be a strong championship presence out in Russia this summer. Let's take a look at 27 championship players who could be at the World Cup this summer. We'll start with Wolves midfielder Romain Saiss, who could be representing Morocco at the World Cup. The midfielder has 16 caps for Morocco and could end an incredible season with Wolves by heading to the greatest tournament football has to offer. Saiss could get the chance to play against the world's elite, with Morocco being drawn in Group B alongside Portugal, Spain and Iran. So don't bank on Saiss and co going further than the group stages. We also mentioned Iran in Group B, and then they'll also have a championship player in their ranks, ASHKAN DEJAGAH. We first saw the winger when he joined Fulham in 2012, where he would spend 2 seasons. But now the Iranian is back on English shores, joining Nottingham Forest on a short-term deal on deadline day, as he looks to secure some game time before a huge summer, where he will captain his country under the watchful eye of his manager Carlos Queiroz, who you may remember as Sir Alex Ferguson's assistant at Manchester United. Iceland will be appearing at their first ever World Cup this summer and will have a strong championship contingent. Cardiff City midfielder ARON will captain his country in Russia as they take on Argentina, Croatia and Nigeria, a tricky group for Iceland. Another championship player who could be donning the blue of Iceland is BIRKIR of Aston Villa, who has more than 60 international caps. Reading's DADI BODVARSSON has just 2 goals for his country but could also be on the plane to Russia, as well as Bristol City centre-back HORDUR, don't cry Game of Thrones fans, MAGNUSSON, who could end the season as a Premier League player if Bristol City can get their promotion bid back on track. A lot of the championship players who could be at the World Cup are actually on loan from the Premier League, and one of those players is Ola Aina, who of course is on loan from Chelsea, because who isn't? The English-born Nigerian international has 3 caps for the Super Eagles and will be praying for a place in the squad despite his inexperience, where he could link up with Victor Moses, a man who managed to break out of the Chelsea loan system and forge out a career in blue. Serbia will also have a championship loan presence at the World Cup. Aleksandar Mitrovic completed a deadline day move to Fulham on loan, having seen his minutes decrease by the day under Rafa Benitez at Newcastle, much to the anger of supporters who saw Mitro as a cult figure despite his failures on the pitch. Either way, the striker has 6 months to save a World Cup place that would have been at risk had he stayed at Newcastle and not played. Another Serbian who could go to the World Cup with his country is MARKO, who secured a loan move from Liverpool to Cardiff last month. The 21-year-old midfielder made his international debut in 2016, and a good half a season at Cardiff could get him to Russia, despite Serbia boasting some impressive midfield options. One of the highest ranked teams at the World Cup who could have a championship player in their squad is Uruguay, who will likely take Hull forward Abel Hernandez, providing he can prove his fitness. The striker has 11 goals for his country and was part of the squad that went to the last World Cup 4 years ago. For now though, Hull fans will just be praying he can get back to scoring goals to keep them in the championship. Hull actually have quite a few World Cup candidates in their squad, which is moderately amusing considering they're staring relegation to League 1 in the face. Polish winger Kamil Grosicki is still with the Tigers despite doing well in the Premier League as Hull went down, but will certainly head to the World Cup with his country, who aren't blessed with a plethora of attacking options. Hull also have Sebastian Larsson, who is closing in on 100 caps for Sweden and was part of the incredible side that knocked out Italy to reach the World Cup, so there's not much chance of the midfielder missing out as one of the most experienced players Sweden have. Speaking of the Swedish, they'll have another championship player in their ranks with Leeds United favourite Pontus Jansson, who will likely be a backup option for the team in yellow. And briefly going back to Poland, they could also have Queen's Park Rangers midfielder Paweł Wosolek on the plane, definitely said that wrong, who has 11 caps for his country. The 25-year-old moved to Loftus Road in the summer of 2016 and has done well for the R's despite their less than impressive league performance. Denmark broke Irish hearts and scarves in the playoffs last year, and they could potentially have 4 championship players joining them at the World Cup. Brentford's Andreas Bjelland will likely be there as a backup centre-half because Denmark actually have some pretty good options at the back with Andreas Christensen, Simon Kjær and Jannik Vestergaard. There are 2 other Danish options from Brentford with Lasse Vibe and HENRIK DALSGAARD in with an outside chance, boasting 19 caps between them. Ipswich left-back Jonas KNUDSEN is also in with a shout, having made the last Denmark squad, despite having just 2 caps to his name at the age of 25. As one of 5 African representatives at the World Cup, Senegal have been handed an interesting group alongside Poland, Colombia and Japan, and have a Midlands flavour to their midfield options. CHEIKH and NDOYE joined Birmingham in the summer and scored twice in Senegal's qualification campaign for the World Cup, while the human brick wall Alfred NDOYE is on loan at Wolves, having previously spent time in England with both Sunderland and Hull. Sticking with Africa, and Egypt's qualification campaign was all about Mo Salah, and that would likely be the same when they arrive in Russia. However, they also have some championship pedigree with the Egyptian David Beckham Ahmed El Mohammadi, who's basically spent his career following around Steve Bruce. Hopefully Brucey won't need him over the summer and Elmo can enjoy the World Cup, rather than doing the manager's garden or washing his car. Costa Rica impressed at the last World Cup despite not having too many notable players. One player who missed out though was Brian Oviedo, but he's now back and fit in 2018, playing in the Championship with Sunderland. Sure, his performances in the North East haven't been great this season, as the Black Cats take playing badly to new heights, but the left back will be there in Russia, where Oviedo will come up against Brazil, Switzerland and Serbia. Good luck Brian, I'm sure you'll be feeling confident after the season you're having. Now what about Ruben Neves? The midfielder has been an incredible player for Wolves this season, after arriving from Porto in the summer, but can he still make the World Cup squad despite not playing in one of Europe's top divisions like his competitors? Well, the youngster was in the last Portugal squad, and if he continues his good form, he can't really be ignored despite only playing in the Championship. And finally we come to Australia, who could have 4 players from the Championship this summer. Yet another Hull City player in Jackson Irvine should be there, as well as QPR's Massimo Luongo and the captain Aston Villa's Mile Jedinak. But the biggest Aussie of all is Tim Cahill, who is back with Millwall at the age of 38 as he looks to head to the World Cup one last time with his country. Russian corner flags, beware. So those are 27 Championship players who could be going to the World Cup this summer. Let us know of anyone we missed out in the comments below. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.